Hey Rachel, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. How's your other class going?
Oh, it's going really good. They just aligned us with two mentors that we're going to be meeting.
Cool. What's their background?
I don't know yet. We just we just got the email.
Huh. Interesting that you had no choice in it, right?
Right. They assigned the mentors to us.
Huh. Interesting. I hope it's somebody who can help you.
I hope so. So far, the class is progressing really well. So I would imagine they chose people that fit what we're doing.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys getting a lot of rain?
Yeah, we've gotten, as my father-in-law would say, we've gotten a sufficiency.
Yes.
How about you?
Oh, yeah. It's been raining all day.
Yeah. This is a strange place. Because it's such a big area geographically, the weather reports that you get uh, actually bear no resemblance to what's actually going to happen in your particular area.
Mhm.
So like if you watch TV or go to, on app on your phone, it's generally covering a huge area from, basically Elizabeth City, North Carolina, all the way down to Wilmington, which is a gigantic area. So we never know what to expect. We were told yesterday was 100% chance of rain, and it did not rain a single drop all day. In fact, it was sunny with a nice breeze the entire day. So
Did you get any rain in Pink Hill?
we got a tiny bit
Okay.
early in the morning
Mhm.
yesterday, even before the sun even came up, and then it was sunny the rest of the day. And then today has kind of been a kind of a typical, stop and start
Yeah,
rain, nothing gigantic.
Yeah.
I think they're calling for more rain this afternoon, but who the hell knows? I don't know.
they're usually wrong.
Yeah, well, for some reason, Pink Hill, if you look at a map, this is probably not accurate, but this is how it seems to us. So we sit down and we watch the weather on TV or whatever, and it always seems to go north of us. Whatever system is coming across from Raleigh and points west and northwest,
Mhm.
it seems to really get, like, Greenville gets a lot more rain than Pink Hill does. I don't know why, but it does. It's just the nature of where we are. We're kind of in this area between the Piedmont and the coast where the clouds just kind of drift over and then they rain when they get to the beach. I don't know.
Rachel, where are you? In Asheville or Asheboro?
We are in Rockwell, which is near Salisbury.
Oh, okay.
I used to be in Asheville. That's why my number is 828.
Okay.
Hey, big guy, how you doing?
Great. How you doing today?
Good. Did you see my note on Slack of how Amazon is using regions to
No.
organize
I
their
did.
small
Oh, you saw
business? Okay.
Yeah, I saw it.
What I thought was interesting, it was on the second page. It wasn't on the first page. So when you click on shop local, then it takes you to a page where it describes the regions.
Yeah, I went into the Southeast region and then I got distracted by other things, other items on the site.
Yeah, they've got about 300,000 merchants on there supposedly. So that's quite a few.
I was checking out the Magneto system with the programmers yesterday. And
Uh-huh.
it turns out they have some experience with it. So that seems like the solution we're going to end up using. Thanks
Yeah,
for
it's
that
called
suggestion.
It's called Magento.
Yeah.
Not Magneto, Magento.
Oh, sorry.
All right. I don't want to embarrass
That's
you in front of your
hilarious.
developers, you got to know the score. But yeah, if you want, you can tell them that you were referred to them by Doorstep Market. Maybe they'll give you a discount. Who knows?
Okay, perfect.
Never know.
What's the relationship with it? Seems like they're back-ended by another company that when you go to do the demos, it's another company name actually.
We talking about demos.
If you go into the Magento site and you they have dozens and dozens of demonstrations that they do.
Okay.
That actually goes through another company.
It could be a video hosting company of some kind, somebody who hosts product demos or something. I'm just guessing. One way you can check stuff is go to builtwith.com, BUILTWITH,
Okay.
put the URL in that you're looking at, and it will tell you all of the technologies that are being used by that site.
Nice.
It's a real quick and easy way to kind of see what's what. All right. Hey, Taylor.
Hello, how are y'all doing?
Good. Let me try not to like delete you or do something stupid. Let me make you co-host so you can present. With any luck, we'll do that. Welcome to the big boss. Tom Rue is here from NC Idea. Everyone be on their best behavior. He's the big guy.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone act real important and real nice and tell him how much you like me. He can't be bought is what I heard.
Well, let's just say admiration in me plus 50 cents will get you a cup of coffee.
Okay. Tom, I have to brag on Tom a little bit because even though he is part of an organization, very few people in North Carolina have done more to bring entrepreneurship to the rural areas than Tom and his organization, NC Idea. And I mean, I'm not even just trying to be nice. It's really true. And so I just, any of you all, you may be familiar with it. You may have applied for grants or whatever. They have a lot of different programs and they're really, really helpful to folks like us. So that's my unpaid for pitch.
Very kind of you to say, Dennis. I'm actually only tuning in today because if memory serves, I was at an event at ECU several years ago, and I think I met Taylor, and I think I saw you do a pitch. And so when I got your email, I was like, oh, I'm very excited to see the progress since I last saw you, which, like I said, I'm losing track of time. It could have
Been
been
a
3
couple
4
of years
ago.
at least. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
still in school. I remember I talked to you. You told me I should drop out. I didn't. I stuck with it. I really did. But yeah, it's definitely come a long way. I've had so many people over the years when I was at ECU who were like, you should just like stop it and go like follow the business. But I was so close. I think it must have been my senior year or something by the time we met. But yeah, it's good to see you again.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you who don't know our guest host today, Taylor Walden, is our guest speaker today. And as Tom indicated, she's been active in our community for several years, even though she's only 12 years old. It's really amazing how she's been able to pull that off at such a young age. But seriously, she started her business very early on. And I'm not going to give any details because she's going to want to tell it and you can ask her questions. The other thing about Taylor that I think is really wonderful for all of you is her willingness to share what she has learned. And some of her learnings have been at great cost in some various ways. So I admire the fact that she is willing to share that. And if you learn something from her, trust me, it's the truth. And so with no further ado, I introduce Taylor Walden, founder and CEO of Simple and Sentimental.
Thank you so much, Dennis. I'm so glad to be back on here. I participated in the Accelerate Rural Accelerator, gosh, maybe like last fall.
Yeah, the first one. You were a rookie. You were in our rookie class.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm really glad to be back. And I see some familiar faces too. So hello. I'm just so glad to be back here so I can tell you guys a little bit about Simple and Sentimental and how it's grown over the years, and hopefully some of the things that I've learned can like help your businesses. And this is really casual. If you have questions, like please interrupt me and ask me, that's fine. Or I'll just pause at the end and just give me all the questions you have. So I started Simple and Sentimental in my college dorm room at ECU in the fall of 2016. I was an interior design major and I needed something to do in between my classes. So I had this hobby of like hand lettering. So I would have really pretty handwriting. I would make artwork. And I actually did start an Etsy shop in the fall. So I would like make this artwork, like I did like watercolor painting and all kinds of stuff, and I would list it on Etsy, and none of it sold. I tried so hard to like make this like artwork stuff work. And at the time, like I didn't grow up with business owner parents. My mom was a nurse. My dad worked at Food Lion. I didn't really know anything about how to run a business or an Etsy shop or anything like that. And but without realizing it, I realized that the market for prints and things like what I was doing was really oversaturated, especially in a place like Etsy. So when November rolled around, Black Friday came around, and I love gifts, which I'll get into a little bit later. But I think it was Joann's. If anyone has like a Joann's, they're like a craft store, was running a sale on a die cutting machine. Like if you're familiar with like Cricuts or Silhouettes, anything like that, they were on sale for Black Friday. And my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, was like, you should go get one of those and you can make stickers out of your handwriting. And I was like, that would be really cool. So like we looked into it, and we ended up going at like 3 a.m. or something to buy this machine, lugged it back to ECU and took it up all 7 flights of stairs to get back into my dorm room, started making stickers. And like, I mean, it did not take long for the first sales to start coming in on my Etsy shop. And by Christmas time, I had invested in like an iPad so I could like do digital handwriting, and I would turn it into stickers, and I would sell it on Etsy, and I would sell it on Facebook and Facebook groups. So there were like Facebook groups with students in it, and I would post and say I made stickers. They'd reach out to me. I would meet them in front of the Dowdy student store, and I became known as the sticker girl. So I would go and meet people, and they'd be like, are you the sticker girl? Like, do you have my monograms? And have a little exchange. And by the end of my freshman year at ECU, I had 500 sales on Etsy because of that was my first pivot. I have a lot of pivots that I'm going to get to. That was my first one, was going from making the watercolory stuff that a lot of other people could do and finding something that only I could do. At the time, not a lot of people were making stickers, where now it's more of a thing, I think. So anyway, into my freshman year, I had 500 sales just making these stickers, and I moved out of my dorm room. All this was done in my dorm room, by the way. I stored it underneath my bed and in my closet. Thankfully, I had a roommate who was very patient and kind, and was not mad at me for using like half of our dorm room to make these stickers. And that summer, I went home, and I had a spare bedroom, and I started trying to think about what else could I make with this machine that I have. So I started putting stickers on other things. I put them on gift boxes. I put them on like wine glasses and other things like that. Taught myself how to make greeting cards. And I was one of the first Etsy shops to ever sell a bridesmaid proposal box. And it's become much more of a thing now, but at the time, hardly anyone was selling these bridesmaid proposal boxes. And that July of 2017, I had like $9,000 in sales on my Etsy shop, which was like a huge win for me. And
Someone's at the front door.
sorry, I have like that little ring doorbell. But anyway, so that happened. I called ECU and I changed my major to business from interior design, went back in the fall and started really pursuing this as like a full-time career, something that could employ just me when I graduated college. And before that, I was interior design, by the way. So I do love design and things like that. But went back to school. Me and my husband were walking on campus while I'm running this business out of my dorm room, or out of my apartment then. And there was a sign that said Pirate Entrepreneurship Challenge, win money for your business. So Nick was like, you should enter that. We should do it. I didn't know what a pitch was. I had maybe watched 1 or 2 episodes of Shark Tank. So we called the Miller School and we asked them to teach us what a pitch was. So they told us. And that fall, the first round of the Pirate Challenge, I went out and had my little table, and I actually rebranded. So up until that fall 2017, it was called TDH Design, which was my initials followed by the word design. So you can tell like this was just a side thing that I did in my dorm room, and I needed something to call it. So I put my initials in the word design. But I rebranded it as Simple and Sentimental, Meaningful Made Easy. It's like, and it's stuck today. That's the same logo up there that we still have on everything. And I really I had a mantle of wisdom that not many 19-year-olds had, I guess, that name was so good. We trademarked it and everything. And it's really stuck with us and really has been a representation of what we do. It's timeless. So that's one thing that I would say about if you do need to rebrand your business, really take some time and think about it and sit on it. The way I actually came up with that was by using an Excel sheet. And I took different columns and I put nouns and adjectives and verbs and stuff, and just put in different ones that aligned with my products, with what I wanted my customers to feel when they opened it. And that's how I got Simple and Sentimental. So it's just a practical thing you can do if you need to rename your business or name any kind of business. But anyway, rebranded it and launched it as Simple and Sentimental, launched my first website. And then we actually ended up winning the Pirate Entrepreneurship Challenge in February of 2018. But what's really crazy is before these pitch competitions, I was super nervous. I hated public speaking. I was not very good at talking in front of crowds at all. But throughout this process, I learned a lot about public speaking, and I learned a lot about just pitching businesses and how to explain what I was doing, because what I was doing was working, but I needed help. We had a 2-week processing time at the time, and that was really long for what we were doing. In fact, one of the things that is a huge part of our business now is our turnaround time. We maintain a 1 business day turnaround time at Simple and Sentimental, and if you sell online, it's essential. I think a lot of people like to make excuses about why their turnaround time is so long, but I'll tell you, I make personalized stuff. So like you go on simplesentimental.com tonight up until 11:59 p.m. EST, you can order whatever you want. You can order a wine tumbler with this is a dentist on it. You can order a gift box for someone. It'll ship out the next day. If we have it in stock, if all go, and 99% of the time we do, it goes out. There are those random cases where we're out of something. And with COVID, I mean, I'm sure some of you guys maybe have seen supply chain disruptions just because of all the things that are going on. But there are few real excuses, in my opinion, as to why you should have a faster turnaround time. And if you don't have one, like this is my push to you is to try to figure out how to make it happen. It might not be 1 day, but even if it's 3 days, like beat your competitors, because it's an easy way to beat them. A lot of the other personalized gift companies in my space, their turnaround times are like 3 to 5 business days or 2 weeks or something like that. So when we tell customers that we have a 1 day turnaround time, they're in shock and they stick with us, because a lot of people in our world have like these last minute engagement parties or last minute birthday parties, or they just forgot to order a gift. They can come to us and we ship it out fast, and free shipping is another huge thing too. So anyway, that's my little spiel. At the time, had a 2-week turnaround time. So my whole pitch when I entered these pitch competitions was that I needed money to hire employees, because at the time it was just me and Nick out of my little apartment shipping things, and we couldn't keep up with the orders. It was just us two, and I didn't have an office to hire an employee because I didn't want to bring someone into my apartment and be like, okay, I'm going to pay you to come work out of my bedroom. So January 2018, we moved into our first office. We had 500 square feet. And after we won that pitch competition, we were able to hire employees. So I hired 2 or 3 part-time employees to work with us. That way we could cover the shifts. I was still in school at the time. So like I had to have somebody at work to receive shipments while I was in class. And anyway, I won the Pirate Entrepreneurship Challenge and the Greenville area pitch competition. So if anyone is in Eastern North Carolina or like physically in Greenville, they do have a pitch competition annually. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with like COVID and everything, but it's usually in like March, February or March. And we won $6,000 there. And then the next night was the Pirate Entrepreneurship Challenge, where we won $12,500. So within 24 hours, we won $18,500 and used that money to hire employees and to move out of my apartment and into that first 500 square foot office space. And I mean, it's just been a crazy ride from there. From 2017 to 2018, we quadrupled our revenue. From 2018 to 2019, we tripled it. And then from 2019 to 2020, we doubled it. And we're expecting to either stay the same or double this year, somewhere in the middle. But it's been really crazy. And it's been a huge blessing to own the business, and for those pitch competitions that really did lift us, like take us to the next level, if you will. Because I didn't have the capital and to invest it. I started the business with $300 in my dorm room, and just kind of slowly built on it from there. I had to be profitable to keep going because I didn't have another job. This is how I was paying for things. Later on, I ended up starting paying for my own college and for my rent, and everything was kind of like shoved out. So I really relied on the business, and that's what maybe start taking paychecks and things like that too. But anyway, long story short, Simple and Sentimental started as a decal business in my dorm room and now is a multi-million-dollar e-commerce brand. We ship all over the world. Our main focuses are personalized gifts. That pretty much sums it up, but we're really well known for our gift boxes. We do still do some bridesmaid gifts, but we're actually really well known for engagement gifts now. In that little area, we do a lot of cake decorations. So if anyone out there is a baker, we do cake toppers and little cake plaques that go on the side of the cake. We do Christmas ornaments. Those are huge around Christmas time. And what's really cool is we've got an Etsy shop with it's either just hit 75,000 sales or it's about to. And the website. So we use Shopify for our website, which I highly recommend. And those are our 2 main sources of income. We do have 2 inside salespeople who help us run fundraisers for the military, which I can dive a little bit more into if you'd like. And then we have someone who does corporate sales. So we just sent out an order like the UNC system with like, I think a couple hundred wine tumblers and some other fun items that are going around the state to different institutions. So we've got a couple of different streams of income. The main one is still our Etsy shop, and it has been up until this point. Then we've got our website, and we've got the corporate sales and the fundraisers with the military. So we do quite a few different things, but one thing that has been interesting over the course of the business has been pivoting. So I mentioned that first pivot was pivoting from like the watercolor stuff to doing the decals. I've had to pivot constantly in the business to keep up with things, and especially in e-commerce, like things are changing so quickly, and with social media marketing and all that kind of stuff. But one notable pivot I'll talk about a little bit was when the pandemic first hit. So before the pandemic, we primarily sold wedding gifts, like those bridesmaid gifts I talked about. We didn't sell a lot of the other stuff at all. And when the pandemic happened, all the weddings just stopped. People stopped proposing, like the world just stopped spinning. And we realized that one of the machines that we used to make all these gifts could actually make face shields. So we started making face shields, and the FDA at the time had lifted all of their requirements for what a face shield needed to be because everybody needed them so bad. And we ended up donating over 2,500 face shields. So what we did is we started a GoFundMe where people could donate for us to pay people to make the face shields and to buy the supplies. And we donated a good chunk of them to Vidant Medical Center. But we also sent some to Spokane, Washington, Elmhurst, New York, Florida, Kentucky, all these random states. And those kind of pivots are huge, like for your business. Like the machine I used to make cake toppers started making face shields within a matter of 2 weeks, but it kept my business afloat for that little amount of time. I never had to stop paying employees. My husband and I, we did stop. We took the hurt before we let any of our employees do that. We have like 15 employees now. At the time we had 5. And we decided we would stop taking paychecks before we let them stop taking paychecks. And thankfully the PPP came around and we were able to like just kind of mosey right along. And as face shields died down, we pivoted again. We didn't start selling wedding gifts again. We started selling things that said happy quarantine birthday, happy quarantine Mother's Day, happy quarantine graduation. We just put quarantine on top of everything. And the business exploded. I used to say that it scaled, but someone corrected me the other day. And I was like, no, Taylor, that's an explosion. So we went from having 5 employees to about 25 employees in 2 weeks because we listed this gift box that said happy quarantine birthday. And all of a sudden, like we had too many orders and we couldn't keep up with it. And it really made me realize that our business was not equipped to scale. So after we rode that wave, we took the profits that we earned from all of those orders and we invested in these new type of printers that we have, and it's made our operation so much more efficient, so much better. So those are just a couple of the pivots that we've made. And now, like I said, we're e-commerce brand. We're also a manufacturer, so we do produce almost all the products that we make right here in Ayden. And all of you are welcome to come by and tour sometime if you want. We're off of Highway 11 and would love to invite you guys out to come check it out. We closed on this building in March of this year, and we have renovated it. So I do have you, if you're on YouTube, we have like a YouTube channel with Simple and Sentimental. And I did take a video of what this building looked like before we renovated it, and I've not posted the after yet, but it is quite the transformation. And it's 7,000 square feet. We produce everything from here. We ship here. And yeah, that's kind of a very, very brief overview of the past couple of years and how Simple and Sentimental started and how we got to where we are today. I'll go ahead and open up if y'all have any questions or anything.
Hi, Taylor. This is Quandale Chanel, Freedom Hill brand. I have a question about how did you determine your target audience when you started? I know you started in your dorm, and as things shift, how do you determine your target audience now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So initially, I had my target audience all wrong. I thought that college students were my target audience, and for a while they were with those decals. But I went through the National Science Foundation's I-Core program. I did that maybe like 2018. Me and my husband did it together after class, and it was extremely helpful in helping to identify who our target market was. And the main part of that course that stuck with me was customer interviews. So I would really recommend just getting out and talking to people. Talk to people who you think are your customer, and just it briefly, like you can make a Google form or something and print it out, but do these interviews in person. That's the best way you can do it. So maybe pick 10 people who you think are your target customer and sit down with them for like 20 minutes, maybe give them something in return for their time. I don't know. And just come up with some strategic questions and ask everybody the same questions. Don't make it an unstructured interview. Yeah, sorry, someone. But anyway, and also when you're doing employee interviews, I have this book called Action Speak. I think that's what it's called. It's from one of my HR classes in college, and it's all about how to create a structured interview. It's great if you're hiring employees, but it's also really good for this customer interview process because the main point of the book is that you should ask like the same questions every single time to help get a more accurate read on people. Because if you just go into these customer interviews and you just let the conversation roll, you're talking about whatever they want to talk about, you're not going to get accurate information from like the same people that you can compare side by side. So I would create a brief little interview that you can do and just get to know your customer, get to know if they would actually buy your product, why they're interested in your product, take notes on their age, their demographics, things like that. I think that's really helpful. And if you're not able to do as many of those in person, you can do like a Google form type thing where you create it and then send it out, but you're going to get more valuable information if you do it in person or over the
Thank you.
phone. Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you take that
Thank you,
I-Corps
Rachel.
program at ECU?
I did. Yeah. It was great.
It is great. It's offered at several schools across the state, and most people say wonderful things as it focuses on customer validation.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
I got a bunch, but I don't want to dominate the call here.
Go ahead. I think the floor is open, Tom.
So first of all, congratulations, Taylor. I mean, like, wow. I mean, you're like exhibit A of why we do the work we do. And I'm lumping Dennis into the we. This is the power, in particular in more rural communities, right? Those jobs that you've created, I'm sure are, of great value to the community. What's the ultimate? Like, what are you guys working towards? What do you and your husband want to do with the company at some point? And it's okay, like if you don't have some big grand answer to that, it could be like, we're just taking every day as it comes, but is there a goal in mind? And I'll lead the witness in one little piece here. I don't know if you saw the announcement last week, but a company we funded back in 2008, sound very similar start to yours, little
Mhm.
company called Spoonflower.
Yeah.
Spoonflower got acquired last week for $225 million by Shutterfly.
Mm.
And
Shutterfly's one of our competitors.
yeah, well, and on a personal level, I had one of my last startups, one of my clients was Things Remembered. And as you were
Oh, wow.
talking, thinking like, boy, if there were a company that would acquire, Simple and Sentimental, Things Remembered could be one of those.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. My long-term goal, I want to become the world's leading personalized gift company. I don't know when that's going to happen. I wish I could tell you. But people are a little, and like when I first wrote that down that I wanted to do that, I don't think I realized the weight that came with it because I'm in a C12 group, which if anyone's familiar with that organization, it's really good. And okay, so it's like a like business group. It's a group or like once a month you go meet, and it's like a Christian business owners group thing. And it's once a month we have meetings, and there's a couple of parameters that your business has to meet to get in. I think you have to have like a certain number of sales and a certain number of employees just to kind of like it. I think it helps a lot because then when you're talking about issues that people understand. And anyway, I was talking to them about it, and I mentioned that I wanted to become the world's leading personalized gift company. And my husband was there, and he was like, "When you said that, you just glossed over it, like you didn't really say much." And they paused you and were like, "Wait a minute, did you say worlds or did you? What do you mean by that?" It's a very big goal. I don't know if it's going to be something that's achieved in the next 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. But it is something that I'd like to see, either for me to see, or hopefully I have children to pass this business down to. Maybe they can achieve it, or however that might play out. I'm 22. I don't have kids. I'm married. But my husband and I, we are foster parents, for a fun fact. But anyway, that is one of my goals. And I think one baby step in that direction is becoming the United States leading personalized gift company.
Someone's at the front door.
Well, one goal you've already made is the largest one in Aden, North Carolina, I'm pretty sure.
That's true. We might be the only one. I haven't done a ton of research.
We don't say that part. We just give the superlatives.
Yeah. But yeah, and also, and to speak to like being in a rural community, I think one thing that's really cool to encourage you all, just being in a rural area, the building that we have and everything, like we would never be able to get something like this in Raleigh or Charlotte or another metropolitan area at the price that we were able to get it at. And just to encourage you guys, you're in the right place to do what you're doing. There's a lot of businesses, especially like post-pandemic, if you're selling online, if you're able to find this niche where you can ship things and it doesn't matter where you are geographically in some regard. I mean, it's huge. And also, if anyone has questions about UPS and getting a contract with UPS, I'm happy to field those as much as I can. We did get a contract with UPS recently, and it's been very helpful. But yes, being in Aden has been great, and being in Greenville and all of Eastern North Carolina, it's been very cool to see like the benefits of running a business in the rural areas.
One of the things that, Kayla, I can't remember if you were in the class when Chad Dickerson, the CEO of Etsy, was talking to us. And he made the comment when he started, he felt like he had to move to San Francisco and Silicon Valley in order to do something, on a grand scale. And then he said, you know what? That's no longer true. All of you can do it right where you are in your rural area. And he goes, that was not true 10 or 15 years ago, but it is true now. And I thought that was a really powerful statement by a guy who, he took his company from 4 million in sales to 440 million in 10 years. And he's basically telling us that, just like Taylor just did, we're in the right place to do this, even though you may not quite grasp that at this moment. So I think that's really good advice.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Taylor, can you talk a little bit about, and I don't want to get in the weeds, but can you just talk about some of the technology choices you've made in terms of, you mentioned Shopify. I know you do email and social media, some of that stuff. Just generally, can you comment on some of that stuff?
Sure. I use Shopify, and I do use a lot of different plugins to lift up our website. But my favorite Shopify theme that I've used so far is Turbo. If you Google fastest Shopify themes, this is normally the one that shows up. And me and Dennis have had many conversations at length about the importance of your website loading really fast, and that this one does the trick. There are some plugins that we have on our website that, like for example, if you go to simplesentimental.com and you click on most of our personalized products, we do instant product previews. So if you type in your name, you can see what it's going to look like on the tumbler before you order it. And that does kind of slow our speed down a little bit, but in our opinion, it's worth it. If you don't sell something that's personalized, maybe that's an advantage to you, that you can make your website that much faster. You don't have to have these heavy plugins that slow things down. But when it comes to plugins and when it comes to setting up your website in such a way that it serves your customers well, you kind of just have to decide like what's worth it. Like, is this plugin that's going to slow down my website loading for like 1 to 2 seconds? Is it worth it? Because I want to say the attention span is like 2 or 3 seconds now. It's not very long. So if your website loads longer than that, you're risking losing customers because they're not waiting on to load. And whenever you do test out your website speed, I would recommend turning your Wi-Fi off, deleting all your cookies, clearing your history, all that, and then test it on your phone. Don't use your desktop computer, because you probably use your desktop computer to, build your website, design it and everything. But I think 94% of our customers use a phone to order from our website. That's also a very important statistic to know for your customers as well. And if you have Shopify, I know that you can see that data of how many people are coming from a phone versus a computer. You can see the operating system they're using. And if you're not able to see it from your website hosting platform, you can connect Google Analytics into your website. It's completely free, and you can see even more data about who's coming to your website, all that good stuff. And we do run Google ads as well. I've been running Google ads for about a year now, with the help of Warren Allen, who I know has been involved a little bit, like speaking with Accelerate Rule and stuff. His business is called The Click Firm. Highly recommend him. He's great. And has really helped us like set up Google ads that work. And I guess as technology goes, that's the website. I use OmniSend for email marketing. They also do text marketing. I've not tried that yet, but the email marketing's been pretty good. I have like an abandoned cart email set up. There's even an email where if they like view a product and I have their email, it'll be like, did you see something that catches your eye? And it emails them. Yeah, I've got a couple of different like little flows set up depending on like different actions the customers will make. But what I really like about OmniSend is that it's reasonably priced, and it lets you come up with these like little automated systems where it can track the customer on your website. And, you have to have like a link to your Shopify to do this, but it tracks customers on your website, and based on their actions, we'll send them certain emails. There's like I think they're called like workflows, but that's kind of the idea, is that it does the work for you and it works smarter, so you can not have to be on it quite as much. But from the technology side, that's what we do. And then we've got some machines that we use to personalize. I would say that's another big part of our business, is I'm always researching new machines and how we can produce things faster, better, all that kind of stuff.
What Warren Allen spoke to the class, I guess, a couple weeks ago, and one of our guys, Branson Edwards, who's on here today, just to kind of paraphrase, he took Warren's tips, just his free tips, and increased views of a video on his website from around 100 a day to 20,000.
Wow, that's awesome.
I mean, just crazy. So we push Warren hard. He's a good guy. Most of what he talks about is actually free. And it's really, everybody should do this. So that's a real good reinforcement there. Yeah.
Could you speak a little bit to your challenges with the technology difficulties you might have in a rural area? I'm assuming you're using laser engravers, direct printers. What's your experience in trying to scale, which means you've got to find people that you can train technically or are technically trained?
I would recommend an operating manual. That's been my saving grace. The book, trying to remember, the E-Myth. That's what the E-Myth. And it's all about why you should create an operating manual for your business and why it's so important. And that has been a game changer. We have different operating manuals for every machine that we make. A lot of the company, and I'm also very picky with the companies that we buy machines from. I make sure they have really good customer service before I ever invest in them. And that has also served us really well. A lot of them were able to get issues, if we have an issue with the machine, resolved within a day or two. And I've been very pleased with everything. So I really recommend going to this is for people who are very in a very specific space, but if you're looking for machinery, go. If they have a trade show, go to it. Preferably a local one. There's one for us in Charlotte that we'll go to every once in a while, and we can meet the reps that would actually be our reps, and that's really helpful.
Is that the ISA?
I think it was called the MBM show, but I think they just changed the name. Yeah. But we've gone there, and that's been really helpful. And then the operating manuals is huge. I can't speak enough on that.
Do you see yourself always centralizing your production at your location or spreading out to other rural locations around the world?
If I want to be the world's leading personalized gift company, I'm gonna have to do it at some point. But right now, one of the reasons our turnaround time can be so quick is because we do produce in-house. A lot of our competitors either outsource that production or they just have other random reasons they don't produce as fast. But because that's one of our main thing, one of our I guess I would almost call it a pillar of our business is that we turn around fast, and outsourcing that slows it down quite a bit. So I do always see us keeping it in house, but also probably opening up other locations to slow down the shipping time, because that's also been a hurdle. Has been making sure that our free shipping option doesn't take forever to arrive.
Okay.
What do you use for free shipping? Is that just UPS ground? Do you have one particular type that's free and everything else is pay? Is that how it works?
Yep. So the free option is the lowest level option. And I will say, has anybody else in here shipped with USPS before? Or a lot, at least? I know
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
Anybody like USPS or have a wonderful 100% 5-star experience? Because I didn't. I don't know if
I've
anybody
used
else.
them.
Used to like them.
I use them, but and it's terrible.
Okay.
It's
All right.
been my
So
experience.
that's a common experience. That's why I asked. So I've unfortunately so the first office I was in was with one post office, and I moved to Winterville, different post office. I just moved to Aden, different post office, different experience every time, but all the experiences were crap. And I've emailed the Postmaster General, I don't know how many times, but if you do need to get in contact with Postmaster General, I have a tip for you. Email them, and in the subject line, put, I spend X amount of money at the post office every year and I'm leaving. That's what I did. Maybe $70,000 a year at the time. I felt like I spend $70,000 a year at the post office and I'm leaving. And I got a call the next day. and it works. So if you need to do that, do it. That's one way that I did get change done when I was in Greenville. And ever since I did that email when I was in Greenville, I had much better results with USPS. But lately, after we got our UPS contract in place, they introduced us to this thing called Mail Innovations. And if you work with UPS, if you have a contract with them, ask them about Mail Innovations, because it's basically like, like how Amazon works. Like a lot of times, like USPS does the final delivery, but up until that point, UPS or FedEx or someone handles it, or even Amazon's facilities. So a lot of times when things get lost with USPS, it's getting lost in their sorting facility. If you use Mail Innovations, UPS comes and picks it up from my office, they take it to their sorting facility, and then they hand it off to USPS for the final delivery. My husband does all that negotiating and contracting, so that's my understanding of it. But it has been a lot better. We're not having as many issues with things not getting picked up on time, and things are not getting lost as frequently because they're not going through USPS's stuff. And when something does get lost, something actually gets done about it most of the time. That was another big issue with USPS, is that we would submit claims and nothing would ever happen. We would lose money, customers mad at us, all that kind of stuff. But UPS has been a lot better. So I would recommend that if you're a high volume shipper. There's also a thing called Transportation Impact. They're a company out of Atlantic Beach, and they will negotiate your shipping rates for you. You do have to have a lot of information though. So you know, like how much money you spend on shipping labels and all this stuff. And what they do is they help you get lower shipping rates, and they take a percentage of your savings. So either way, you're saving money, but that's how they make money, is by helping you save.
Did they help you find your deal with UPS?
They didn't. No, my husband goes to a small group every Wednesday morning, and all of a sudden all these UPS drivers started coming, and they were like, "Hey, you ever thought about shipping with UPS?" And that's how it happened. But Hayden McVeigh is our account manager, and he's really good. Really like him.
Do they pick up at your location in Aden?
They do. They do.
I couldn't get
On
anybody to
time.
come to Pink Hill. I tried to
You
get
can't get him to pick up a Pink Hill.
Nobody comes to Pink Hill, unfortunately. Well, that's okay. I'm not shipping anything but a load of BS anyway, so I don't have to worry too much. Okay, any more questions for Taylor while we have her on the hot seat here? I have one for you. Maybe this will help with the conversation. Do you ship internationally or just in the United States?
I ship internationally.
So talk to us about that. How do you do that?
It depends. My husband might be a better person to talk in depth about that. And I'm not kidding when I say that any of y'all are welcome to come say hi. I'm here most of the time. My email is taylor@simplesentimental.com. Email me. But we use USPS sometimes. Like I said, we do a lot of military fundraisers and the Navy. So like we partner with Navy boats and do this thing with them, where sometimes we need to ship to where the boat is docked. So we ship to Japan and Spain. We got Guam in the works. So that one's going to have to be USPS because I don't think UPS does Guam. So it kind of depends on where it's going. But if we can go UPS, we try to. It's just in some regard, USPS is sometimes cheaper. If you're shipping to a military base in Japan, it's like the same cost as shipping to some other place in America. So it really depends.
Do you have to deal with any customs or any of that weird stuff with international shipments?
We don't ship wood. That's one thing. We do wood material stuff sometimes, and we just don't ship that internationally because they get kind of weird about it.
Okay. So
Military,
go ahead, Tom.
you say military shipments, are you saying those are just clients that are in the military, or is that a government contract?
It's not a government contract, although I'm looking into that too. But we actually really work with the civilians. So like every Navy boat has like a family, most of them have a family readiness group. And it's like the spouses and the family of the sailor. We work with them.
I was just going to suggest that you look into doing direct government contract work. In the 90s, I made a lot of money with one of my startups doing government contract work. It's a pain in the butt to figure it out, but once you figure it out, it's a license to print money.
Yeah. And if anyone is interested in that, I've been working with Scott Barker from the SBTDC, and he's been really helpful. He like specializes in government contracting. Dennis, do you know Scott?
I do. I'll put his stuff in.
Yeah. Okay. He's great. He like did a Zoom call with me and like shared his screen and helped me work on my SAM stuff. So he's great.
I also put a link to the Michael Gerber's eMyth where he visited in the chat.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great. Yeah. All right. Any other questions at this point, or please
Yeah, I've
feel,
got one.
go ahead.
If we have a product that we need personalized, would we be able to bring that to you to get for our customers?
It depends on what it is. If you want to send me an email, I can get specifics and stuff. We can personalize almost anything. I just always say almost because there's some random stuff that we can't do for, I like that. There's some things we can't engrave because of the material, or maybe it doesn't fit in the machine or something, but in most cases we can. Yeah.
All right.
Very cool. Yeah, and Taylor, you also do stuff that is not necessarily just online, right? Like I've seen some hats and stuff like that you've done. Is that right?
Yes, so we do, we just started screen printing. So if anyone needs t-shirts for your business, let me know. We also do hats. So like if anyone likes like Richardson 112, those seem to be the hot hat right now. We do leather patches on those, embroidered hats, all kinds of like little promotional product type things.
Wow. Is that all? You can find that all on your website and figure out what you want to do?
Working on it, but we do have another strategy too. I'm assuming everyone here is like e-commerce oriented. One of our strategies is that I have multiple websites for SEO reasons, but I didn't want Simple and Sentimental become so broad that it didn't make sense anymore. So I've got mangiftsco.com, which is like the guy version of Simple and Sentimental. And then we have sscorporategifts.com, which those two have been kind of on the back burner since we moved into the building. We moved in like a month and a half ago, and it's just been wild. But long term, I'm trying to have like multiple websites that that are really niche. And on sscorporategifts.com, you can see more examples of the corporate work we've done. So we've done like all kinds of random stuff, umbrellas, like, and we're working on plungers for someone. Like, so really bring it to us and we can figure something out.
I hope Tom Morse finds you and does his plungers. Would be
Yeah.
really
That'd be cool.
okay. Any other thoughts or questions before we let Taylor get back to her busy schedule?
I just had a quick question. Do you wholesale?
We do a little bit. It's not a big focus on the business right now, but I have done it in the past when I first started up because I was just trying to make money any way I can or could. So I did it a little bit, but we do wholesale. Like we did some hats for Local Oak recently. We wholesaled it to them and then they're reselling it to their patrons. But it depends. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the operative word is bring Taylor your deal and see if you can figure it out. That's the way I look at it.
Taylor, if you ever need help reading bids, our other business, that's a big focus of us, but just a familiarity. If you ever have questions, I can always help.
Yeah,
And
thank
with
you. That's
your
awesome.
with your online design software, if you ever get to the point where you want to download your HTML designs as cuttable SVGs, give us a ring.
We used
We can help with that.
We used to be in the signage industry. We did custom signage manufacturing.
Yeah.
That's why he had the
Okay, cool.
machine question.
I'm actually looking for a sign for the outside of the building. That's one thing I don't make. So if anyone has a recommendation for that, I've had the hardest time finding somebody to come put a sign on the outside of this building. So yeah.
Well, I think they might be able to steer you in the right direction.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Taylor, what's your email again?
Taylor, Taylor at simplesentimental.com. I can put it in the chat really quick.
We're getting ready to order hats. So I'll put a stop to that order and
Yeah, we would love to.
staff will reach out to you and see if we can't keep it local.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right. Well, it's wonderful.
Congrats. It's a great
you.
inspirational story. I
Yeah.
shudder to think where you're going to be in 10 years. You're going to be a titan of industry.
Well, she's going to be featured in the Wall Street Journal as the world's largest personalized gift company. I have a feeling.
And I would also encourage, go ahead.
Just going to say, keep in mind on your goal to that, on your
Uh-huh.
journey to that, be prepared when you start getting offers. And I remember from my office here, we're in the American Tobacco campus, and there was a company called Bronto that was right across the way here. And I met with the founder of that company shortly after they sold. And he told me this story about the first time he turned down $50 million. And then the second time he turned down $125 million. You know, and then when it finally took for him to sell, I think it was 250.
Yeah, it was 250. Joe Colopy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had like a 3-hour lunch one Saturday, and he was just like, he said in a million years when he started Bronto, and he took no outside money, no private equity. He said, you know, he never would have thought in a million years that he'd be at a position where he would be declining, you know, a $50 million acquisition.
Right.
I think he worked at Red Hat before, if I remember right. But
I don't know that about his biography, but
yeah, I think he worked at Red Hat, and the other guy did also. I believe that's where they did their technology. Well, thanks, everybody. I put Taylor's email address in the Slack, as well as Tom's suggestion on that book. You know, as always, it's such a pleasure to have Taylor with us. And you've got her email address. And if, you know, if you just need help finding your way around the crowded city of Aden, I believe you can stop in and get some help from the largest personalized gift manufacturer in Aden, you know, and find your way around. So Taylor, thank you once again for your generosity and your willingness to help us copy what you're doing and grow our businesses.
I'm always happy to help. Like I said, I'm completely genuine when I say that if y'all want to come by and check the building out, you're more than welcome to. We'd love to have you. I'm here most of the time, so just send me an email. But I'm excited to see where all you guys go. I would love to learn more about your businesses and what you guys are up to. And I would also encourage you. Recently, I received like an award from Forbes, and the only reason I received it was because I applied for it. And apparently I was the only person in Eastern North Carolina who got it, and out of 12 people in Raleigh. So, or out of 12 in all of North Carolina that got it. And I think most of them were like Raleigh and the other way. So I'd highly recommend you guys apply for that kind of stuff, because I would love to see, I'd love to see more Eastern North Carolina people winning it. But I think sometimes, like when you see other people who are winning these like big awards and stuff, a lot of times you have to apply for them. So apply for grants, apply for pitch competitions, apply for awards, apply for all that kind of stuff. And yeah, and like Tom was saying, military contracts and things like that. I know Dennis can connect you with Scott Barker. Look for that kind of stuff and really try to find ways to scale online. That's been the biggest thing for me, has been growing my business online and all that that's brought. So
thank you all. Thank you, everybody. And we'll tune in again on Thursday when we have John Lack from the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, who will teach us about exporting. Taylor, you're welcome to come and listen. He's got money to help people figure out how to sell in other countries. So encourage everyone to attend. Thank you, everybody, very much.
thank you.
Take care.
Dennis, you're going to be on the Small Business Policy Task Force call in 15 minutes.
I am. That's why I'm getting off.
I'll see you there.
See you in a bit. Okay.